Okay, I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can actually see what I'm walking. I haven't showed you this park yet. I mean, there's nothing to it, but you'll see the path that I walk as I do it. Just a very small trail. It's 3/10 of a mile, but I love the track on it. It's not difficult to walk. So it's a great alternative to when I can't go to the trails. It's cloudy again, but it doesn't look like we're going to have any rain today, at least according to the report. So I'm grateful about that. Temperatures are going to be in the 60s, so they're going to be nice. I'm going to walk every day outside as long as I can. Looks like I should be able to walk tomorrow too. But Wednesday, I guess it's going to rain. But after that, it's supposed to be sunny and the temperature's back up into the 70s. So maybe, just maybe, I'll even be able to go back to the park with the trails. I hope. I probably should give a little bit more time for them to dry up though, because it did really rain hard earlier in the week, last week, so perhaps I do need to give a little bit more time for the trails to dry, especially the rock along the river. Possibly give the river a chance to go back down and everything. I know that the lake had swelled pretty high, and no doubt the Bosque River did too, or the Brazos rather. It's the Brazos River. So more than likely, it got pretty high too. Maybe even flooded its banks. I didn't ever bother to go look. I knew there wasn't any need to. Hello, dragonfly lady. Oh no, it's no problem. I can understand that. I can understand that perfectly well. We do have a life, that's for sure. Doing okay today? Hello, Blondie Warrior. How are you today? As you can see, it is a dreary morning, but still a good day to walk. At least I'm not rained out. Awesome. Glad to hear that you're doing great. Anyway, there isn't going to be anything to see on this track. It's just a loop. Hello, Cuban Beauty. How you doing today, Carmen? I'm here at Pogue Park. I don't think Cameron's dried up enough yet from all the rain we had. So I'm here at Pogue. I know if I've got to walk a regular park track, I'd rather walk this one. It's not hard on my joints, and I can put a lot of laps in. Yeah, I know. It's not so much the trails that's in the woods, but that river walk where it's got those mud patches, It takes a very long time for them to dry up. I kind of figured the Brazos might have overflooded its shores anyway, or came mighty close to it. I noticed that Lake Braco did. It was over top of its boundaries, so more than likely so was the Brazos. I kind of figured that it's supposed to become sunny and get back up into the 70s after Wednesday. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe sometime next week I'll be able to go back to Cameron. I'm hoping. Just according to if the weather cooperates or not. Every year. Shoot. Me and Cuban Beauty lives right here in Texas. Believe it or not, we're only 5,000 steps from each other. We live here in Braco. Yeah. Oh, are you? So I guess you've got some pretty cool weather where you're up north, huh? I understand that Illinois is extremely having crazy weather right now. Wow. Snow already. I haven't seen any snow here yet, but there was a very severe ice storm at the end of December last year. I ended up slipping on the steps and twisted my ankle bad. Was laid up for almost 2 months by it. Oh my goodness. As usual, there's a lot of traffic here, so it's noisy. I can hardly wait till I can get back to the other park where it's more quiet. So Lisa, have you started focusing more on when you eat? Have you started practicing that? I will tell you this, when you first start out, if you've got really bad habits and you first start out, it takes a little while for you to break those habits. But as long as you keep working at it, you can break them. I'm slowly breaking my bad habits. I'm getting better at it. It's getting less difficult, and I'm sticking more and more to the plan and how it really works. And I'll tell you something else I forgot to share with you. The dietitian nutritionist that wrote the book said that as long as you listen to your body properly and you really just eat when you're hungry and stop when you're satisfied, you can lose anywhere from 1 pound to 4 pounds a week. That's according to how long it takes for you to feel hunger again. I'd done this plan once before some years ago. It might have been maybe possibly 8 years ago. And for me personally, biggest problem I'd ever had was gluttony. And so when I'd started applying the Ray Down plan, I'd stopped gluttony. And so I was losing weight. And I think I'd lost about 18 pounds or so on it over like 2 months or so. And my daughter's boyfriend moved in with us. And he was bringing home chips and junk. And there it went. I gave in and started super indulging on what he would bring. And the sensitivity to my body needing to eat and everything, when and when not, went out the window. I ended up giving every bit of it back. All because of those chips and my indulgence. Now mind you, I wasn't necessarily having so much chips to begin with, and I would eat like a little Debbie cake sometimes, but it was only within my hunger. It was never as an indulgence, and that's where I was being successful. But what he was bringing home was way too much stuff, and I was eating way too much, even when I wasn't hungry, and so I failed. So I'm working on getting myself back into range, only eating when I'm hungry, stopping when I'm full, and definitely making sure not to eat potato chips, because I know I can't stop if I eat them. Therefore, I do have success losing weight. And so far, I have now lost 9 pounds in 58 days. 9 pounds in 58 days. Not many, but still a considered victory for me. Really, in some reality, it's even more than that. And I didn't start doing the kicking it until I was down to 17. I'd actually gotten up to 220. So if I would count before I started the kicking it series, in reality, I've actually lost 12 pounds. 12 pounds in 2 months. 12 pounds in 2 months. So yeah, just making sure not to glutton, not to superindulge. The one thing that the author had said about that book, had said in that book, was that you could start out eating a whole bunch of stuff, and then once you get your satisfaction about it, you find that you don't want it no more. She gave an example. She said, say that you crave nothing but chocolate, and say that you decide to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and supper. And you do this every day. Eat chocolate for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Every time you're hungry. Eventually, you get sick of it, and you don't know when you want it again. And then she went on to share with one woman who's doing the way down, said that she used to eat chocolate a whole lot, and she would get herself big bags and she would end up eating all of those bags, and it got to a point she didn't trust herself. She just did not trust herself. So she stopped buying the bags of chocolate, and instead, whenever she wanted one, she would go to the store and buy herself one. Just one chocolate. Not a bag, but one chocolate. And then it got to a point that she trusted herself, so she would get herself a pack of chocolates. And she would take one with her for work. It just got to the point that she would only eat a chocolate on occasion, because sometimes she just didn't want it. And she said, so now she keeps chocolate in the house, but the woman said that she really didn't remember the last time she ate one, because it got to the point her body was satisfied and didn't need it no more, or didn't want it anymore. So the body adjusts anyway, and it lets you know if it needs something or wants something. If it doesn't want it, it just don't want it. Likewise for me, I've got stuff in the studio that I was reviewing with Big Mouth. Well, there's still stuff in there. Jellied cookies, bottle caps, hot tamales, dehydrated vegetables or whatever they are, some seafood, little cups of Jell-O, Mexican Jell-O. And I was like, after I decided that I couldn't do Big Mouth anymore because Snapchat took Big Mouth out, I thought, well, what am I going to do for sweets? And my husband said, just go on ahead and eat what's in there. So I found myself indulging on what I had piled up for my Big Mouth review. And now it's to the point I really don't even look at it anymore. And I don't think about eating any of it. I'm fine with it. It can be right there in the studio where I can reach it. And I don't want any of it. So last night I opened up the Boston baked beans, which is candied peanuts. Only ate a few of them. I really didn't need them. I was satisfied after I ate about 10 of them. That was that. I left the box on the table for my husband to enjoy if he wanted them. So, and I don't mind if my body doesn't want some kind of candy or some kind of cake or cookie or whatever. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me one bit if I don't want it. But if there comes a time that I do, I'm just going to make sure that I'm either hungry or I eat it along with my meal so that I'm not indulging. But for the time being, my body's starting to calm down, and it's not screaming for that stuff so much anymore. And that happens. So I'm not ever going to deny myself what I want to eat. I'm just going to deny when and how much I eat. And as far as it goes for the potato chips, I'd just rather not have them in the house. I'd seriously rather not. And another thing that a person will find, if they go a certain period without eating something, when they finally try it again, it don't taste the same. It's not as good as it once was. So that's a bonus. I had me a miniature can of soda with my dinner yesterday. I didn't even eat all of it, or drink all of it rather, I'm sorry. I didn't even drink all of the soda, the mini can. I didn't even drink all of it. I left about a quarter of the can. I just didn't want it. It'd gotten too sweet for me. I just didn't like the taste anymore. So yeah, the body adjusts and it knows what it needs and it lets you know, but you gotta learn to listen to it. Hello. Just walking. Just walking. Walking and rambling and walking. Doing my morning exercise. No specific subject. I never have a particular subject to talk about. Ever. Only when something gets going and then I start talking. Wednesday will make 60 days of my Kicking It series, and I'll be making a video that does a comparison of how I looked on day one up until the 60 days. And I'm going to be giving my measurements and everything, and how much I weigh, how much I lost for the month, for the entire 2 months total. So I look forward to that Wednesday. That's going to be good. It's a cloudy, cool morning, but at least it's not over hot. It's a good day to walk. Hello, Grandpa. I'm doing great. How are you? Great to see you this morning. How's Luna girl? It's just a repetitive cycle. There's nothing interesting to see here at the park. Just a repetitive cycle. Figured people would rather look at the trail than to look at my face. Awesome. And yes, every day is a blessing, especially if you look for those blessings. Sometimes people don't take the time to find them. It's got a very nice pavilion here at this park. It was yesterday or the day before, I think it was the day before, that they was having a birthday party. As far as it goes, seeing the blessings, I'm one of those guilty that I don't always take the time out to look and see. I have to learn to be more grateful in my life and less grumbly. I really don't have any particular subjects to talk about today. I'm bad for that, though. But the looks of it, if the weather continues to improve, sometime next week I might be able to go back to that other park and walk those trails again. thank you, hun. You still eating breakfast? I guess hubby left. Either that or he's just listening in. Oh, did it? Okay. Yeah, that's right. It still had 40 minutes left on it when I left. Hope you enjoy it. If you like it, we'll get you more. I can hardly wait till I get to start walking at the other park again. I really miss being able to walk those trails. I feel like I really accomplish a workout when I get to walk them. Not to mention, I just love being in those kind of sceneries. I love being in the woods and stuff. After I had got off the live chat with the last one that we had, Grandpa with Pretty Boy, I came across this little clearing. Someone had set up a little fairy town. They had a sign up on a tree limb saying, "Fairies and friends only." It was cute, had little houses set around it. All right, love. See you when I get home. I'm not complaining about this little track. I mean, even though I see the same thing over and over again on it, it's easier on my feet and on my joints, and it really does give me a decent workout because of the slopes on the ends. So really nothing to complain about it. I've gone walking all through this neighborhood before, and there are some places in it kind of steep. Really good to walk. But unfortunately, where it's all asphalt, it starts causing my hips to give me trouble. My right hip has a tendency to lock out on me sometimes. And then it makes it hard to walk. So it's really better that I walk on even ground that way. And I know it doesn't seem to lock out on me if I walk on even ground. Doesn't give me any trouble at all. My husband's a good man, Grandpa. He is so supportive in so many ways. That's my blessing right there. my husband. My second blessing is Miss Catherine. It's another blessing. My 3 children and my granddaughter's a blessing too. I just don't get to enjoy them anymore. The way they said, I'm not a blessing to them, but they'll never know just how much this mother loves them. And that's a completely different subject matter that I'll just never talk about. I've been running this live stream now for going on 37 minutes. Traffic has been in and out. That's the way that goes with live streams though. And if it's not something interesting, people's not going to stay on anyway. I like what Kylie said. And even if you don't have anybody in, there's going to be the replay. So try to talk about something no matter what it is. Just try to talk. That way some people will have something to watch on the replay. I really try. I try to fill in those silent spaces. And it's crazy. I never had a problem with pretending with my Barbie dolls, but I sure have a lack of imagination when it comes to talking. I just happen to be one of those kind of people that it's harder for me to talk about subject unless somebody opens up a subject. I'm a listener. Sometimes good conversations get started though. Good subjects and stuff. So how's the weather in Maine today? Say it's kind of cold. I tell you what, you could go back and see my great walks with me. Downtown has got a whole lot of historical buildings. You could tell they're really old. I kind of like this other area where I'm at right now. A lot of it's newer, really new. But some of the stuff that's here, you could tell it was like back in the 40s, 50s. There's actually, at the end of this street right here that goes along this way, it dead ends. But at the end of it is an open area that's got a trail. And I've walked on that trail before, but I was with a couple. There's some places it's really hard to cross on it because it's got a ditch that runs through it. Right now it would be way too muddy for me to even walk it. But seeing that a whole lot of weeds have died down now from the rain and it being cooler, when it's dried up enough, I might do a live stream walking that one. I might. I've only walked it that one time with that couple. They was with their family, had their kids with them. And the woman had said it's easy to get lost on it. But it's possible that if I use the GPS, I may not get lost. And I looked, and it's actually got the trail on the map. And it's not a park or anything, it's just an open trail and stuff. At one time I reckon it might have been a business or something, or maybe it's just a old path that they use as an access when they're having to like check on the power lines and stuff. Who knows? All I know is it's there, and it actually goes out to the lake. So that would definitely be some fresh place to show off. So when it dries up, I may attempt that. And it's a good workout too. It'd be interesting to see it again. Maybe learn that one down. Be able to walk it easy. And it's still closer to home. I wouldn't be wasting gas. I can walk down to it from here. Just park the car here at this park and walk down to it. So that relatively wouldn't be burning any gas. Yes, it does. Wow, cold nights. Some people enjoy that. I have to be bundled up good. Right now we're hitting 50s in the night, 60s in the day. But yeah, every building's got its own story, and I would love to know every building's story. I would love to. I think that's one reason why I enjoy watching Brian when he goes to these different buildings. I want to know what their stories are. I can almost picture the buildings when they were in use. The homes that Kylie goes to, I tried to imagine when they were inhabited. I like seeing old homes too, and some of the beauty on them, just so gorgeous. In a lot of ways, it can cause you to appreciate how the work was done back then too. Things don't last like it did then. Some of the older homes that was built in the early 1900s and they're still standing, barely falling apart, mostly just chipping paint and wallpaper, that's it. You could still walk in them and everything. That's some pretty good building. Also says a whole lot about how well the homes were took care of. There's this one urban explorer And she's actually what got me on to watching urban exploring. She goes by the username Tiki Trek, and she's a Canadian. And some of the homes that she was going into, so beautiful. And some of the homes she was going into was also wrecked, falling apart. But she's what got me started on watching exploring channels. She eventually stopped, and she actually uploaded one about a month ago. It was one of her older archives. I jumped on that. So I don't know when she's going to start exploring again. I reckon her and her husband moved down to Florida or something. Anyway, they moved to America. So I don't know when she's going to start exploring again, but I hope she does soon. But yeah, I'll show you as much as my town as possible. I'm limited what I could just literally show off, but I'll show off more of it. I walked on the sidewalk that was on the other side there at the Brazos, and I found something that was extremely interesting. The sidewalk goes all the way by the university, and it ends at a parking lot that's for the university and the football field. But on the freeway, the pillars that holds up the freeway has got caged gems on it, and they're all cut. They're not shined or nothing. They're all cut, and they've got the teal blue turquoise, and they've got the green emerald. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me why that they would have those lying there like that, have them caged up, because they're wrapped around the pillars, the blue turquoise is, and then along the sidewalk in cages is the green emeralds in a cage, in a box cage lined up, and they've got lamps inside of the emeralds, inside the cage, so that when it's lit up, I'm sure it shines pretty good, you know, has a real beautiful light. And for the life of me, I can't understand why. Now, if it happens that it's not real turquoise, it's not real emeralds, there is a Coca-Cola company here. So maybe what I think is the blue turquoise and the green emeralds is actually unused glass for the Coca-Cola bottles and the Sprite bottles. That might just be what it is, but it sure looks mighty close to being turquoise and emerald. And I'll never know. Rich, I had looked up the blue stone, and it called it aqua. So, I don't know. It could be unused glass from the Coca-Cola plant, or it could be the gems. And my husband said that there's all kinds of the gems around here. So apparently, I guess this has got Rayco's got a mineral deposit somewhere that's got the aqua and emerald gems, I guess. I don't know. But it is pretty and interesting to see, whether it's glass or it's real. It's very pretty. It's just curious. My husband told me to take a picture of it. I'd have a long ways to walk back down to get it, but I might do that sometime. When I go back to that park, I'll go on down that way and I'll take photos of the rocks. I figure the one who would know most if it's real or not would be my father-in-law. He's that intelligent. He could tell me if it's glass or if it's real stone. Now, I'd have to be sure to take the pictures really well, though, so that he could see the texture and everything. In about 9 more minutes, Grandpa, I'm going to close the live stream down. They'll make it a complete hour. I don't know if you saw it, but we've got a Dr. Pepper museum here. It's Rayco, it wasn't necessarily the place where Dr. Pepper was founded, but it was the place where they manufactured it. So they've got a museum there, and the museum is the original factory. And so the first floor, you see a replica of the pharmacy where it was sold. And it's the pharmacy where the doctor worked that created the Dr. Pepper. And then another part of it on the first floor is the plant itself with the machinery. And there's a living well. It's right there in the floor. And you can look down and you can see where the water levels rise and fall in it. So it's still a living well. It hasn't dried up. I can imagine with all the rain we had, it rose pretty good this time. But they do have a glass over top of it so no one can fall in. And then the second 2 floors, another part of the museum, has got like old poster signs and the pop bottle machines where you could buy your bottle and all that. The third floor has the, I think he was the CEO later for Dr. Pepper or something like that, and it shows his office and stuff. Or at least the replica of what his office looked like, whatever it is. Anyway, it's interesting. You don't think? Now, I don't know if the cage is to just make sure that it's secure where it's at, or if it's actually to protect it from people who would think they could make money out of it. All I know is it's very pretty. Very pretty. But like I said, it's uncut. It's not been polished or shaped or nothing. It's raw. So I don't know. I really don't. I just wonder how I'd be able to find out about that, though. I think I tried to look it up. I think I did. I might not have. Where me and my husband went for our anniversary vacay earlier this week. The place where they originally manufactured and created Dr. Pepper and the other drinks. The town wasn't that close where we went. It wasn't that far, rather. It wasn't that far from where we had gone, but we never did drive through it. It's Dublin, Texas. We never did drive through it, but it wasn't that far away. It was only maybe about 10 miles or so from where we had gone. It wouldn't have took long at all for us to get to it. And they still sell Dublin drinks, Dublin sodas, but it's getting harder to find. I tried a Dublin soda as like a regular cola, and it had a very smooth taste to it. I mean, it was still carbonated, but it wasn't harsh going down. It was smooth. Good morning, Money. Yep, where are you going, girl? Are you walking with me or just enjoying the walk? Yeah, I'm moving it. I've been walking it so far now for 57 minutes. And this is just a repetitive track. It's only 3/10 of a mile. But right now, the trail that I was on the last time that you saw me on one would be too muddy for me to walk right now. I'm having to let it dry up real good. So I'm having to be happy with this park. But yep, I'm moving it. How are you and the boys today? Awesome. 5 miles. 5 miles isn't anything to boo-hoo about. That's a lot of walk. By the time I hit around 7 miles, I've pretty well used up the last of my juice. I'm all out of mojo by the time I hit around 7 miles. So how are the boys today? That's going to be Mom's great quiet time right there. I can imagine. Oh, when I can, I try to average at least 7 miles. I try to. I most generally really don't pay much attention to the miles as much as I do my steps. I aim to do 10,000 steps a day, but if I do more than that, I'm very pleased. So I average anywhere from 5 miles to 7 miles. It's just according to where I'm at and how my body's starting to feel. On those trails that I prefer doing, I can easily do anywhere from 5 to 9 miles. It's according to which trail I choose. But the trail system that's there at that park has got over 15 miles worth of trail. So it's very easy to rack the miles up there. This one, because it's only 3/10, well, you got to do quite a few laps to even accomplish anything. Now this neighborhood here, I've walked it before, and I can average around maybe like 2 miles to 4 miles in this neighborhood. But I rarely get the flight of stairs from it. There's a lot of hills and slopes. Okay. Well, I'll leave it open a while for Money to come back on. Little man needs his bottle and a nap. With all this walking that you do with me, Grandpa, you ought to be in pretty good shape now. It really gets easier walking, though. As long as you keep at it, it gets easier. When I started the kicking it, I was only able to do about 3,000 to 4,000 steps. I had gotten that bad. I'd allowed myself to get that soft, that bad, just sitting around and stuff. And I've had to work myself up. Now I'm not happy if I don't manage 10,000, which I'd like to manage more than that. Oh, one thing for sure, you don't have to worry about your lungs wheezing on you. I'll let mine wheeze for you. Luna looked cute in the little bandana and the shorts. I didn't watch any of the second live stream that you threw, but what little bit I could see of the first one, she looked pretty cute. I might set it up one of these times and see if my hubby would do a drive through downtown, the historical part, and I'll just film as we drive by. Not necessarily walk it or anything, but just kind of film it from the window. I'll talk it over with him and I'll see what he thinks. He might come up with an idea for me to be able to show a little bit more of downtown. She is a star and she knows it. She knows who she is when she's in the camera. Just like my Miss Catherine. Luna and Catherine are not shy when it comes to showing themselves. I'm trying to give money back, enough time to get back on here. But my phone is going to be telling me soon that it needs to be plugged up. I've got about 3 minutes left on it before it gives me the warning. Then it'll be on 20%. Hopefully little Edgar will lay his little head down. Bless his heart. He is one cute little ambitious child. That's true. That is true. The majority of downtown has got sidewalks, but I wouldn't really know quite how to film it unless we do a slow drive-through. A lot of the parking spaces are either reserved for certain buildings or as a pay parking lot, so that would pose a problem as well. Maybe I could park at the Magnolia, but that's really preferred for people that's going to the market. But it'd be a good place to start. There's a whole lot of historical buildings that surround in that area. That'd be a great place to start. I don't know that money's even going to be able to make it back. If the little fella is refusing his nap, she might not be able to. So I'm going to go on ahead and close this out before it starts telling me to hang up. Yeah, I'm going to talk with my husband about it and see what he thinks. We might be able to come up with something. He's my production manager anyway, especially anything that's outside of Waco. He's the one that does all the coordinating and stuff, so I'll talk it over with him and see what he thinks. I may be able to do footage of downtown. We'll put our heads together. Anyway, I'm going to go on ahead and close this out. Money, if you watch this on the replay, I'm sorry. I knew that my battery was about ready to come off. So, I love you. Thank you so much, Grandpa, for joining me on this beautiful morning. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow. You do, Grandpa. Love you.